tissue roll? The bottom part?
Why do you have those?
You have like you wiped his butt and then brought it back.
Wait, those away.
No, I was throwing them at Wooten. And then I was like, why are you throwing stuff at me, Wooten? So anyways, we have been working with systems in chapter 4. And I showed you a really easy way, cool way of doing it with your calculator, which was reduced row echelon form. Of course, there's nothing in the calculator that you're not, let's see here. Whatever you do in the calculator, you have to be able to know how to do by hand. So today we get to embark on the adventure of solving systems using R.E.F, row echelon form. So I think that's what Steve was complaining about when I first talked about matrices. No, it really doesn't take long. So let me go ahead and get started. The problem is, just like that 3x3 system, remember when I solved it? And I said it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of easy work. So as long as you know what you're doing, those steps, it should not be that difficult for you, okay? Because you are restricted to a couple of things you can only do. And when you can only do a couple of things, then, you know, everyone knows how to multiply, right? I don't. I'm not very great at it, but everybody can multiply. What? This is section 4.3.
What is 4.2?
4.2 was the 3x3 systems. 4.1 was the 2x2 systems, right? Let's just get started here. Let's start from the beginning. All right, so chapter 4, section 3. Come on, mouse. We're going to be solving systems of linear equations by methods of matrices. So we're going to be using matrices to solve our systems. You've already seen kind of the end product, if you will, by using the calculator to do it for you. So now you get to do it by hand, if you prefer to do it by hand. Okay? And it really depends on you what method you choose. It's
So we have the choice to do it by hand or by calculator?
partly for the homework. I think you might be forced to do it by hand because they might say, okay, what'd you get for this row? What'd you get for this row? Type thing. But ultimately, you got to understand what you're doing. Is the point. So let's get through this. You're going to be able to define a matrix, which I think you already kind of figured out, right? After plugging them into the calculator. Write the augmentric matrix, which is the matrix with the solutions in there. Use row operations to solve the system with 3 equations. Use row operations to solve a system with 3 equations. So we're going to do a 2x2 as well as 3x3, if we have time for that 3x3. And then use operations to solve special systems. So same as before. Want to close this 'cause it's annoying.
I think you're on track.
Huh?
Second page.
All right, cool. So for starters, you got to be able to define a matrix. This is what a matrix looks like. In this case, it's a 2x3. It is a 2x3. It's always rows by columns. So in this case, it's 2 rows, 3 columns. So this matrix would be considered a 2x3. Every number on the inside is called an element. It's called an element. And each element has an address, if you will, or a name. So if I'm talking about the element number 1, we would also refer to that as R2C2. R2C2. Row 2, column 2. So when you take a look at row 2, column 2, you'll see that 1 is what we're referring to. Okay? So they all have their own unique way of identifying each. Would have been nice if that was. So it is measured by rows, columns, and of course the dimensions as well. Are we good with this slide? Anybody need it any longer? All right, moving on. Here is what we call a square matrix. Okay? It's going to have the same number of rows as the same number of columns. So here, square matrix. Square matrix here? No.
So where's your answer in the 2x2?
No, we're just talking about matrices in general right now. Okay? So we're just kind of reviewing what matrices are all about. Okay? Yes, matrix is singular. Matrices is plural. So make sure you know that. Don't say matrices. That just sounds cool though. Never mind. Moving on. So square matrix. Writing the augmented matrix. The augmented matrix. So this is what you're talking about. So let's say I do have a system such as what you see on the left. To write the augmented matrix, I would have the coefficients here and the solution on the left side. That's what an augmented matrix is. Of course, when we're doing the calculator, we don't write that line in there, but that does tell the reader, these are your solutions, these are the coefficients to the variables. Okay? And like I said, I think everybody figured that out real quick, right? When we're punching them into the calculator. One big important thing, notice that you have all your x's lined up, your y's lined up, your answers lined up. It must be that way. If you find a system that is not in order, make it so, please. Otherwise, you'll be wrong. Questions there? Huh? All right, continue. All right, cool. Row operations. There's only three, well, yeah, I guess there's only three things you can really do with row operations. Okay? Now, if we have a 2x2, don't read that. That's going to confuse you. Okay? The only thing you can do with matrices is, one thing is do a row swap. Okay? So let's say you had row 1, row 2, and row 3. Okay? One thing you can do is swap the rows completely. Okay, just changing the order of them. So if you want row 2 to be first, and then 1 and then 3, you can do that. Okay, but you have to take the whole row, not just parts of it. Okay, it's called a row swap. Simple enough? And that makes sense, right? Mathematically, does it really matter when you add? No. Right? Addition is commutative, so row swapping is a legit operation. Take this row and move it to the second position or something. Okay? So, you can interchange them by swapping two rows. So there's one operation. One of the other operations is to, let's see here. I'll just tell you what they are. One is that you can multiply a row and then add it to another. So you can multiply a row and add it to another.
Oh, whatever you're doing to find the common denominator?
Yeah, kind of like that. So remember, we could do that, right? So it's legit. So you can multiply a row and then you can add it to another, because all you're doing is increasing that whole row by that much. Or you can add numbers to a row. Remember, same operations, right? Whatever you do to one thing, you got to do to everything else. So that's it. That's all you can do. That's all the operations you can do. You can multiply a row and add it to another. You can swap the rows, or you can add to a row. Simple enough? So let me not walk you through this because it looks scary. Okay, but ultimately, here's what our goal is. And what we're looking at is row echelon form. Row echelon form. I knew it was up there somewhere. Okay, and remember I told you, what you'll have is this diagonal of ones from top left down to bottom right, and under that should be all zeros. So if you're working with 3x3, it should look like this. Okay, 2x2 should look like that, 3x3 would look like that. Do we care about the numbers above the ones? Not in row echelon form. Okay. Not in row echelon form. Everyone good here? All right, you guys ready? Ready to do it? Okay. So let's start with, let me end this, because I want to go over here. Okay. For starters, we need to write the augmented matrix, okay? So what's this matrix going to look like? Who wants to give me the elements going across? 1, -2, 9,
Do you have
and
to write it like that?
no, you don't. You don't. But it's easier to see that that's where the answers are at. Okay, but you don't have to do that at all. 3, 1, and 13. Okay. Now, notice we already have a diagonal of ones, don't we? I was like, sweet. The only thing I really need to do is make this 3 into a 0, right? So what I'm going to do is I don't have to use one of the other rows. Well, technically I have to use the only other row I have. Okay? So I'm going to take that row 3. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take row 1. I'm going to multiply it by -3. and then I'm going to add it to row 2. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this row, I'm going to multiply it by -3, so that means my new numbers that I'm looking at are -3, 6, and, well, that's not 6.
Yeah, it would
How
be
would
six.
that be six?
Yeah, that would be 6.
I'm multiplying this row by -3.
Right.
Oh, okay, my bad. Thanks, guys. I thought it was going to be 9 for some reason. And then 3 times 9 is -27? Is that not right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Did I miss something? All right, now I want to make this clear. Row 1 is not changing. It's not changing. All I'm doing is using those numbers to do some math with it. And I said I was going to take row 1, correct? Multiply by -3, and then do what with it? Add it to row 2. So let's do that. Here is my matrix. I'm going to redo it because this isn't changing. That's not what I'm after, is it? Okay? So now I'm going to take that new numbers, the red ones, and I'm going to add them to this row. So what's -3 plus 3? 0. 7. And 14? Okay, so it's that now.
Oh, wow, that's
Everyone cool with that?
We have to put the 0 there? Does it not?
Yeah, because you want to see those zeros for that row echelon, or that for that row echelon form. Okay, are we good so far? All right. So unfortunately, I got rid of my 1. I liked it there. How else can I put a 1 back? Put a 1 back here. Now I can only multiply or add. Remember. So what could I do? I have to get creative with my multiplication, don't I? Because really, everyone's thinking if I could take 7 divided by 7, that would work, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? 7 over 7 is 1. So what I'm going to multiply, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take row 2, and I'm going to multiply it by 1/7. Is that legit? Sure is, isn't it? Steve? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do it. Here, now, am I doing anything to row 1? No, not at all. All right, so what's 1/7 times 0? Still 0. What's 1/7 times 7? 1. And what's 1/7 times that -14? -2. Now what I have here is reduced row echelon form. That's exactly what I needed. Because what this is saying, what column is this? Here on the left. It's the X column, right? This next column, the middle column, is the Y column. So this is saying that 1y is equal to -2. So I know that y equals -2. All I got to do now is plug that up into the top equation. So x minus 2 times -2 is equal to 9. That's going to be a positive 4, so I'm going to subtract 4 to both sides. And x is equal to 5. So there it is.
So if I don't get this, like if we just never get it.
You will.
He's not giving you advice.
So
You
this
will.
is still like
I feel like it's pretty
easier on the calculator.
Am I saying that this is the best method?
No.
No, it's not.
But we have
If it's a
to learn
2x2 system, I would never touch that.
Wait,
But I'm just showing you that because once you get to a 3x3, you know what's up and what's got to happen.
It's harder for 2x2 or what?
With a 2x2, doing this,
I thought what you just said you'd never touch it.
I wouldn't do it. I mean, unless I was asked. But I would prefer elimination. I'd be done with it like in half that time. Right? But of course, I'm doing this so that you can see what's going to happen when you get to the 3x3s. Okay?
wait, we have to solve the 3x3s.
What?
We have to solve the 3x3s.
You'll have the 3x3s for the homework, yeah. Okay. Questions on this one? Yes, tonight. Tonight.
Are you gonna make it like 10 questions?
Probably like 10 questions.
Oh my.
We went from like 20 to 15 to 10.
Oh, we have a game today. And we don't have Wi-Fi.
And it's away.
He's like, I'm
You got
good.
a 45.
All right.
Push it out.
There we go. So as we go through the row swaps, here we go. So the first thing we did, here we multiplied the row 1 by -3, and we added it to row 2. That produced this.
Can you tell me how come you want to multiply by -3?
Say that one more time.
Can you tell me why you multiplied by -3?
Do you remember that elimination thing we were talking about before? So in order to get a 0 here, I have to add this row to that row, don't I? So how do I get that to be the opposite of 3? Multiply by -3. Okay? So same as kind of idea as elimination. And then what we did is we multiplied by that 1/7. And there it was. And then once we got it, we just solved that
Can we keep doing these?
and plugged it back in. Okay. Here we go.
Is it big?
Now it's going to get real.
As soon as I think I got it.
All right, let's start with the. We're gonna have to take our time here, guys. Make sure that we
Can you stop to let us write it?
yeah, I will.
You go really fast.
Yeah, well, tell me to slow down. I don't mind.
Slow down.
Okay.
Alright, let's go back to chapter 2. Slow down.
Yay!
For real though, right? This is Munoz. No, but I'm gonna work on one during 3rd, 4th, okay? And then I'll email it to you. All right, cool. So augmented matrix. Let's start making that. That's gonna be 1, -3, -1, 7, 2, -1, 1, 7, -1, 1, -5. I just lost my spot for a minute there. Okay, do you guys want the line in there, or you guys good? Okay, just an extra thing I gotta do. I don't really mess with the line myself.
For the homework, do we have to do it like this?
Yes. That calculator's looking pretty good, isn't it, Callie?
I don't want to do this.
Look, it's gonna be all
Am I
right.
gonna use this in real life?
If you're gonna go into like electricians and
If I promise
programming,
not to,
Well, can you
I
go
will
back?
not need it.
to where?
Well, I'm trying to be a doctor and I'm not like,
Okay, well, let me tell you this. If you're going to be a doctor, you're going to do a lot more math than college algebra. And what we're doing right now is college algebra.
is this doctor math?
No, that's more. You're going to do more than this. So you will need this skill if you're going to be a doctor. Because you're not stopping there. College algebra,
Okay, then I'm not gonna be a doctor.
if I
okay?
promise not
Here's
to
all I have to
do
say, guys.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Every one of you, no matter what field you're going to go into, I don't care if you're going to go be a farmer, okay? There's the lowest level of math that you must take is called college algebra. What we're doing right now is college algebra. Wouldn't it be nice if you learned some stuff right now so when you get to college, you're not sinking and then drop out?
Why do
That's
we-
all I'm saying.
Wait, why do we learn the same stuff twice then?
The what?
Why are we learning it twice then?
This is just an introduction.
Right, because if you go to college and you test out of college algebra, yay, I don't have to pay for that.
I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm not gonna drop out.
Like when I went and tested in, I could test into calculus, to my horn a little bit, but I didn't have to do all those classes.
Or you have to
I was happy, but I still had to go back and do them because I was gonna be a math major, so I need to have those math credits. I know that's what I said too.
Wait, so they just don't
How do they
give it to you if you pass, if you test out of it?
Yeah, because if you test out of it, then you don't have to take that
But
class.
you had to
But
take
you said
it.
you
You
had
gotta
to
take
take
more?
it.
Because I was gonna be a math teacher.
So why would you test it out of it? Why'd you have to take it anyway?
Because they only offer so many math classes.
Oh, you just get 3 credits.
I need math credits.
All I need to know
So
is
yeah, what's that
how to
word?
count money. It's like Pablo Escobar.
Dude, you only have 10 fingers, so you're gonna have to learn math. Did you get it? You got it,
No,
right?
you have 10 toes.
You look good.
You can work. What?
He said he's gonna be Pablo Escobar. He's not gonna be taking his shoes off to count on his toes.
I'm gonna have my nose with my toes like this.
Stupid. Whatever, dude. Moving on. Moving on. The first equation is sitting pretty already. It's already a 1. What I want to do is start making these bad boys zeros right there. That is your best approach. Get zeros under that, and then go to the next column and get the pattern appropriately there. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap rows first. Can I just undo? I'm going to I'm going to swap rows. I want the last row, I want this row to be here, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add row 1 to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
Because that'll make it a 0 on it. So I've got 1, -3, -1, 7. And then I want to bring that bottom row to the middle. So -1, 1, -5, -9. Let me do this. Just so you can see what I moved. And then this becomes 2, -1, 1, 7. Okay, so all I did was a row swap. I took this row and I swapped it with that row. Is everyone good here so far? Huh?
I said it's overwhelming and all we did was swap.
It's a lot of work. Okay, it's just like that 3x3. But is it hard work? Okay, be positive about it. You keep being negative, it's gonna get worse. Swapping rows was confusing.
I don't think it's gonna get worse than that.
I'm sure it will, but we'll work through it, right? Now here's the thing though, don't. Alright, stop. If you're gonna be negative, just don't. Because other people catch it, hear it, and then they get on the same boat. Okay? If you're gonna learn it, you're gonna need to learn it. Alberto, close your laptop, sir. Thank you.
I'm having to charge my phone. There's nothing. I'll point it at
Do
you.
you not charge your phone at night?
It's not even hard.
It's not, so please just follow on. Learn it now and not fail your test, right? Yay, I want to graduate. Keep that in mind. Okay? Diploma in your hand. Actually, what do they give
You
you?
don't even get a
diploma
diploma.
cover in your hand and tab and
Wait,
everything.
why don't you get it?
They give it to you right after.
They email it to you. They mail it to you.
No, if you don't show up, yeah. But
So wait, they don't give it to you?
What do you mean what's the point? You're still graduating.
no, because everybody always gets out of order. We'll talk about that later if you get there. I mean, when you get there. Sorry, when you get there. Oh, I can't take that back. And it's recorded. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Here we go. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go edit my video. All right, here we go. So here's my new matrix now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take row 1, and I'm going to add it to row 2. Cool? So which one is changing? Is row 1 changing or row 2 changing? It's row 2. So 1 stays the same. Okay, I don't have to worry about it. Man, I'm horrible at these bingo bobs. Okay, so here we go. Let's add it. What is 1 minus 1? 0. Let me use red. 0. What is -3 plus 1? -2. What is -1 minus 5? -6. And 7 minus 9? -2. Look at that. Our first row operation and we survived. That was it. Easy? Okay, cool. Now I need this 2 to be a 0. What could I do?
Can you like just multiply by 0?
No, because that would make the whole row 0, wouldn't it? That's a great idea. I mean, that would fix all our problems. But, okay, I have to do it with an operation with one of the other equations, right? So, or I could just multiply the whole thing by itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take row 1. I'm going to take row 1. I'm going to multiply it by a negative 2, and then I'll add it to row 2.
Wait, what's row?
I'm going to take the top equation, multiply by negative 2, and then I'm going to add it to row 2. Sorry, to row 3. Thank you. I'm going to add it to row 3. Thanks for saying something, Steve. So what I like to do is I like to put those numbers on the side somewhere so I can reference them without changing this one. So let's see here. That should give me a negative 2, a positive 6, correct? And then a plus 2, and then a negative 14. Okay?
So now will the first row change or no?
No, the first row's still not changing. Because what am I doing the changes to? I'm doing it to row 3. Okay? All I'm doing is using it as some numbers. So let's do this real quick. Row 1 doesn't change. Row 2 doesn't change. Now, row 3 is the one that's going to change. So what I need to do is add these numbers to that row. So 2 minus 2, 0. Negative 1 plus 6 is 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. And 7 minus 14 is negative 7.
Yeah.
And there is my new matrix.
But is that completed? No, it's...
Do we have row echelon form? No. What we need to do now is make this number a 1. Okay? And that's not the hard part. Like making numbers 1 is easy. Because what do? I multiply by their reciprocal. It's just that simple. Yeah? You see it, bro? That's all, because we're restricted to what we can do with them. So all I need to do to row 2 is to multiply it by negative 1/2. Right? That's all I would need to do. So let me move this up. Yes?
I'm confused. Okay, so you did negative 2 multiplied by row 1 and then plus row 3.
Yeah, so here's what technically happened. I multiplied this row by negative 2, and those numbers that I got, I add them to row 3.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be... I'm confused.
No, go ahead. Tell me what you're saying.
Okay, negative 6 plus 2.
Negative 6 plus 2?
Yeah.
Where'd you get negative 6?
From row 2. Oh, oops.
You did to the wrong row?
I forgot to change it whenever you wrote row 2 instead of row 3. Sorry.
Oh, okay. My bad. That's my fault. That's why Steve called me out.
That's not that cookie.
So we're good then?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's go back to where we were at here. All we're doing in this case is taking row 2 and multiplying by negative 1/2. So the first row doesn't change. That's 1, negative 3, negative 1, 7. Now the middle row, 0 times 1/2 is still 0. That's going to give me a 1 there. And then 1/2 of 6 is 3. Is it going to be a positive? Yeah, huh? And then 1/2 of 2, I think that ends up being a 1, doesn't it? Awesome. Now, does the last row change? No. 0, 5, 3, negative 7. Multiply what by 1?
No, say the last row. 1 over 3.
1 over 2?
3. Like the last row, sorry about row 3.
Well, what I want to do now is I need to make this 5 a 0, don't I?
Why is 0?
Because that gives me row echelon. Remember, I want a diagonal of 1s. I want all these bad boys to be 1s. That's why the line kind of helps. Because you can see what you want inside. I need those 3 to be 1s, and anything under that has to be a 0.
The first one we had a row of 1s already. So the other way.
Yeah, but once we start modifying them, the numbers will change. Okay? Now, at this point, though, it's not bad because we kind of set ourselves up with some good stuff here. Let me show you why. Oh, I tried to hit delete, and I probably hit paste. Yeah, it's because. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so see how that's a 1 right above the 5? If I multiply that 1 by -5 and then add it to here, that would give me 0, wouldn't it? So I'm always helping myself out anyway as I go. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to take row 2, I'm going to multiply it by -5, and then I'm going to add it to row 3. There's no 9. Did you say? So let's see what the new numbers will be. 0 times -5? 0. 1 times -5? -5. 3 times -5? -15. And then 1 times -5? -5 again. Okay? So there's my numbers. Okay? Row 1's not changing. I'll pause. I think people are still writing down. Thank you.
So 1 doesn't change. 2 doesn't change either, huh?
Yeah, row 2 doesn't change either. Because what we're doing stuff to is row 3.
So 0 and 0 is -5, 5.
Continue here.
So why do you have to make that a 0 instead of just working with the 3?
Which 3? Are you talking about row 2 or row 3?
3.
Well, that 5 is there too.
Yeah, but like, why can't you just work with the 3 to get the 1?
How am I gonna? Why don't I work with this to make this a 1?
No, why don't you just leave the 5 a 5 and then work with the 3 in row 3 to make it a 1?
How would you do that?
I don't know. I'm not doing any of this.
Well, remember I told you what the operation. We're only limited to swappy rows, not columns.
By a third.
If you multiply by a third, if you multiply 5 by a third, you're gonna make this nasty. Now it's 5/3, or 1 2/3, or 1.66666.
Yeah, that's
Let's not go that way. Okay. So, all right. So let's get back to here. Row 1 doesn't change. Row 2 doesn't change. Now the next one should change. So 0 plus 0 is 0. -5 plus 5 is 0. -15 plus 3 is -12. And then -12 again. All right, cool. So we're almost there. That's not bad. Because all we need to do is make that -12 a 1, don't we? And remember I said that's the easy thing? Because what am I going to multiply row 3 by? By -112. So here's what we get. So here's what we get. 1, -3, -1, 7. 0, 1, 3, 1. Let's see, 1/12 of the 0 is still 0. -1/12 of 0 is still 0. -1/12 of -12 is 1 and 1. So guys, what's the value of y? 1.
Wow.
Because remember, this. See how this row is saying? That's x, that's y. Sorry. Oh, sorry, z. You're correct.
Is that
My bad.
-112 or
Yeah, it's -112. Because negative would make it positive, right? Thanks, Jacob.
So they're both 0
What?
with X.
X is, in this case, x is 0, y is 0. What it's telling us is z. That z is equal to 1.
Please. Because you're trying to kill trees right now.
True. True story.
I'm sorry, it's-
Favorite. Quote,
We're past the baby man.
quote, say, retweet, and all that FaceTime.
Okay, so now that we know z is 1, now we can make the rest of the equations. This top one says y
Oh my god.
plus 3z is equal to 1. So plug that 1 in here. It's not that bad, is it? Good. So that's going to be 1. That ends up being 3. So minus 3 minus 3. That means y. That means y is negative 2. Then you take those two and you plug it back into the top equation. Okay, and then that will make you done. Okay, and it only took.
Wait, what did you do?
Oh, it only took that much. Killing trees.
No, it's a lot of easy work. It's a lot of easy work. Get college rule. That's why we don't use. What is it? What's the other one? There's college and standard. Wide rule. Thank you.
This is called.
Get college rule.
We have college roll.
Okay, give graph paper. That's still smaller. Write in the little boxes.
Right in the little.
Get yourself a 0.3 pencil.
Let's just get ourselves a TI-84.
Oh yeah, you can actually do this on your calculator as well. The row swapping and all that good stuff. I think I showed it to you guys, didn't I? So if you go into, let me minimize this.
It's already done. You're done.
So it was 2 negative 2 1.
Huh?
It was 2 negative 2 1.
Okay.
Now
He was
why
asking.
Oh, for the problem?
why is it on the calculator different, but the answers are the same?
I don't know what you're saying.
It's the right answer.
I said Z was 1 and then negative 2. So on the calculator, you should see, if you did R.E.F, you should see 1, negative 2, and then I don't know what X is yet.
2.
Is it 2 again? So that's because you have R.E.F.
This part over here is different. We have.
Yeah, it is, because are we done? What you're looking at, sir, is reduced row echelon. Ours is only row echelon. Do R.E.F instead of R.E.F. And you're going to get the same thing, watch.
How'd you do it so wrong? All you have to do is plug it in, dude.
What happened?
Yeah. The last part when you plug it in or whatever.
I broke my big nail, guys. I was making some carne asada yesterday, and when I dropped the lid, it nicked it and it cracked right there. I was like, if I don't take it off, it's gonna keep cracking downward. Yeah, girls would know, right? So I was like, bye. It was huge. Finally, now I can play my guitarrita. All right, cool. Any questions? Yeah, I do. It's not a guitar. It's a vihuela, so you have to use your fingers for it.
I'm more of a ukulele guy.
Ukulele.
Do you want to look
I like those. All right, let's do it again.
No. Can you show us on the calculator?
Oh, how to do the row swapping and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll save you a lot of paper. So let's do that real
I'm trying to
quick.
save trees right now.
Okay, I'm all about the environment.
I'm trying to save my time.
Okay, so do you have your calculator? You have your calculator. So let's go with second matrix. Go into the matrix. Go over to edit. And let's put our new matrix in. So not Cali, Medea. What are the coefficients of the matrix we had? What was our augmented matrix?
The numbers we started off talking about.
Yeah, the augmented matrix.
1,
1,
negative 3.
Oh, yeah.
negative 3,
This one, negative 1,
negative 1,
7,
7,
and then 2,
2,
negative 1,
negative 1,
1,
1,
7,
7,
and then negative 1,
negative 1,
1, negative 5. Oh wait, that's 1. And then negative 5. And then negative 9.
negative 9?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now that we have that, we have to start making some choices, okay? So if you go back into that matrix, second, I just hit second quit. Second quit. Second quit brings you back to the home screen is where you want to be. Where you want to be. Okay? Yeah. The whole thing. The whole thing.
With the new one or the original?
The one we just did. Here,
What is this?
with these numbers, which is this right here.
Language.
What? Oh, you're in a different language? Yeah. You gotta go into apps and change language. It's the purple one. And then look for the
I was like, what?
what language is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wait.
Second quit. So once you're done there, you just go second and then push quit so that you come back here. Good. Good, that's where you want to be. All right, let's go. Ready? No, they stay there. Second, matrix, and then go over to math. And if you push up, it's going to shortcut you to all the operations. See it? So there's all the operations you can do. You can do a row swap. You can add to a row. You can multiply a row. Or you can multiply and then add a row. It's the same thing as that. Actually, I think this is a little bit tougher. I didn't like doing it by my calculator.
Yeah, I quit. I'm trying to put this in English. And then you go to B, right?
Yeah, this has been a long time, so let's figure this out. So here's one. Let's try C, which is a row swap, which is the first thing we did, right? We took, let's see here. How would that go? Is it 1, 3, comma 2?
By choice, I'm not doing exactly.
Yeah. I'll have to remember how to do this because I haven't done that. Determinate. No, I had to do it in college. I wouldn't make you do that.
Oh, you have to. Do we have to do it in college?
When you get to college, I suggest you learn it then because this is tough.
Yeah, you look like you're struggling.
Well, I haven't done it since college. Like, I don't care for it.
When did you graduate?
Right.
It's a waste.
Right.
That's the end.
You have to know how reduced echelon works before you're technically allowed to use it. Like, no matter any tool that you learn, right? If you don't know how to use a buzzsaw, they're gonna let you use it. And that's kind of my rule for math. If you don't know how to use it, don't use it because you're gonna get yourself in trouble. Good setup.
That kind of sounds like you yelling.
It does, huh? It's a goat, though.
It's a go.
It's a
It was
goat.
a go?
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Let's do another example. Oh, what's the time like? No, we're done. If anybody really wants to know how to